Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Nurse Mark and the Green Nurse Daily Dose of AFA.
Where we bring you hope and inspiration for growth and healing so you can start your day off the AFA way. And in case you have forgotten, Mark's written a book all about it. Whoops, it's upside down.
Gosh, I did. I wrote this book.
Awesome. It's a great book.
Here it is in a nutshell. You're absolutely amazing, exactly as you are.
Thank you, Mark.
Oh, Sherry. That's what they just get so off of that, right?
Yeah.
They start out life absolutely knowing that, and then stuff happens. Stories are told, inputs received, experiences are experienced, and then a whole new story gets created on top of that. So the book's really about tearing those layers off, peeling that onion back, and getting back to that root knowledge and acceptance that you're absolutely
Core.
amazing and perfect exactly as you are.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Absolutely. Peel back those layers, and you can do it
yes,
quickly or you can
yeah,
do it slowly.
right,
We have a right
right.
the
There are a lot of
processing
tools,
emotion.
there's a lot of things you can do. Sometimes it's the long term, right?
The long
Sometimes
road.
you just gotta pick away at it. Other
Yeah.
times you have moments that just propel you back into that knowledge and of the fact that you're absolutely amazing. And it
Yep.
all
The
comes down
flow.
to self-love. Yeah.
Yeah.
So here we are, Wednesday, April 14th, 2021. And
Only April 14th we're ever going to have in
that's it. This
2021.
is it. This is it. This is not a dress rehearsal. This is live. We're going for it today. And so let's start off, Cher. What do you think? A little daily love.
I'd love some love, Mark.
A little daily love. So
Little daily love.
today I pulled from You Are What You Think by Dr. Wayne Dyer. Because that's really what I'm all about is just, what you think, what you think is what you get, what you think is what you manifest. Wayne Dyer was a huge believer in this. He wrote many books about it. So today's reading was really, really good. And so, you know what? I'm just going to read it to you. You all right? You
Mhm.
ready? All right.
I'm
It's
ready.
been a moment. Let's
Do
do it.
this.
The power of your beliefs to keep you stuck is enormous. Those deeply ingrained notions act as chains, restricting you from experiencing your unique destiny. You have the capacity to loosen these chains and make them work for rather than against you, to the point that you can alter what you thought were scientific explanations for your human limitations and characteristics. I'm referring to such things as your genetic makeup, your DNA, and or the early conditioning imposed upon you when you were an embryo, because when you're an
Generational.
embryo, things are happening to you. So it's
That's right.
impression then, infant and young child. Yes, you read that correctly. Your beliefs, all of those formless energy patterns that you've adopted as your self-image, have the ability to change dramatically and give you the power to conquer unwanted traits or what you unhappily presume to be your fate.
Mm.
And so
There
my
you
my
go.
experience share on that was what was once a perceived flaw in disability for me was my depression. I've had lifelong depression, and I, as most people do with depression, kept it very quiet and to myself. I didn't share it because I felt as if I was broken. And sometimes
Mhm.
the system makes you feel like that, right?
Oh boy, does it ever.
Something broken about you that needs to be fixed with a medication or a therapy or and at the end of the day, and that's how the book came about, I was able to put together all these things that alleviate my depression if I stick to them. But the most powerful thing that happened was I got to a point where I flipped it around, and what was once a liability or a flaw is
Mm.
now one of my greatest strengths because I share it with other people. And there are a lot of other people who are suffering in silence, who feel like they're alone and that they can't say anything to anybody. My gift, my strength, my reason for being here is to just let it out there and let it be known that I have depression from time to time. It's how I'm wired. I didn't make it that way. I was born this way for
That's all
whatever
you got,
reasons
Mark?
are. This is what I got to live with, right? It's a
You only got
strength.
depression? That's it? That's all you
That's
got?
it. Oh my gosh. Depression, mood disorder. Yeah, whatever you want. Put a label on it. Whatever it
Put a
is.
label
I'm
on it, right?
human. You're human.
Exactly. I know, right?
Peel
You
that
think
all
about
away. Peel that all away. You're absolutely amazing,
it, right?
exactly as you are.
I
So hey,
love it.
yeah,
It's
whatever
great.
your perceived flaw is, turn it around because that is your strength. Whatever you think is your flaw is truly your strength. Share it with everybody else. Man, oh man,
That's great. I love
amazing.
that. So just think
Yeah,
about that too. So, people that have those long medical lists of diagnoses, right? So if you think
yeah,
about that, I have one of those. I'm like,
sure.
wow, isn't that interesting? Is that's what I
Mhm.
look like on paper?
Right.
So that's a piece of paper that you can't let that piece of paper dictate who you are, right? And
No,
that
you can't. And that's what Wayne was saying in his message today. It really was. You have the power to change what you think about that, about what you've been given as your DNA and your genetic makeup. Like you didn't choose that. It's what you got.
yeah.
And so there's power in that. And you can flip. I mean, you can't change your DNA, although we're working on that, which is
Mhm.
an amazing
Mhm.
medical breakthroughs. But you really are. You get what you get, and then it's the perception.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Perception.
So, hey,
Good
here we
one.
are.
Here we
Wild
are.
Wednesday.
Wild
Yeah.
Wednesday,
Morning,
Wellness
everybody.
Wednesday.
Morning.
Hi, everyone. Welcome,
Good to see
welcome.
you all this morning.
All right. So we have today
Wellness Wednesday.
Wellness Wednesday. So what Mark and I do is we talk about different health awareness
Mm-hmm.
topics
Yep.
and how we can correlate that to the endocannabinoid system. So
Yeah.
believe it or not, speaking of, this is one of my issues, is Irritable Bowel Awareness Month, right?
Oh my
Take
gosh.
care.
Something that I have experience with. I don't know about you, Sherry.
My God, it's
That's
what
one
almost killed
that's
me.
one of the things on my list on that list you talked about on paper. Yeah, I had that.
Me too. Oh yeah, irritable bowel, explosive diarrhea,
Oh,
constipation,
don't you love being a
malabsorption
nurse?
syndrome.
Don't you love being nurses? The rest of the people here, if you're not nurses, you're probably saying, "What are they talking about this stuff for?" Well,
That's
that
so gross.
nurses are really focused on poop. Yeah, like we're really like we're all about it. So we're talking about it today, Sherry.
We're talking about it.
IBS put together a great show today. So
A really cool show today. But the
yeah,
part that's really cool is we will be able to link irritable bowel to the endocannabinoid system. So, Mark,
and then
what
to
is
cannabis.
irritable
Yeah,
bowel, endocannabinoid system,
yeah,
cannabis?
yeah,
That's how this talk is going today.
yeah.
So interesting enough, irritable
Mhm,
bowel syndrome is the most frequent diagnosis in
mhm.
gastroenterology practices in the United States. That's
Probably
huge.
worldwide. And why is that, Sherry? Because it's a catch-all. It's like,
It's a
yeah, we don't
catch-all.
really know what the problem is specifically because there's no test for it, right?
Mhm.
It's like you have all the symptoms. This is the catch-all category that we're going to say you have IBS.
Right, right. It's
Mhm.
known as what? Irritable colon, spastic colon,
Yep.
irritable bowel
Mhm.
disease. And so the interesting thing is what it means is the term is for symptoms that happen within the contents of your large intestine. They
Yep.
either move too slowly or too quickly. And
Right.
it's a functional disease. And like Mark said, tests
Mhm.
aren't going to show anything.
No.
And
There's
then
no
it's character.
biopsy. There's no
Yeah.
blood work. There's nothing that's going to prove that you have it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So here we go. We have some symptoms, the chronic
Oh
abdominal
yeah.
pain, discomfort, bloating, bowel
Mhm.
movements, constipation, diarrhea,
Mhm.
combination sounds
Mhm.
horrible,
Mhm.
imbalances of the microbiome,
Yeah.
right? And comorbidities. What's a comorbidity? Things that kind of go along with it,
Right.
associated
Mhm.
diseases. A lot of people that have irritable bowel also have fibromyalgia. Many of them have depression,
Yeah.
anxiety, chronic fatigue, and even migraines, which is interesting.
Yeah. It's
Um,
huge. It's huge because your gut is really, it's the epicenter of health. You think it's your brain is the ruler. Your gut's the ruler, baby.
we
Your
talked
gut,
about
not
that, Mark.
80 or 90% of serotonin is in your gut. I
Gut.
mean, it's the epicenter of healthy. And so, Sherry, this is really cool that we're talking about IBS today because I had a conversation on Saturday with someone who was a dean at Harvard Medical School for a number of years. And we're talking about the 4 biggest breakthroughs in medicine that he felt were the 4 biggest things today. And one of them was microbiome and
There you
fecal
go.
transplant, and the studies and the things that he's seen in very, very recent past that are amazing breakthroughs that have to do with your microbiome, which IBS is,
Yeah.
absolutely linked with.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely, totally, 100%. And Mark and I have talked about too, and we educate about the endocannabinoid system, our enteric nervous system, which is from our mouth to our butt,
Yep.
communicates to our central nervous system via the endocannabinoid system. So it just totally makes sense
Yep.
that a healthy gut equals a healthy mind, body, and spirit for sure.
Right.
So it's definitely one of the least understood medical conditions. It affects more women than men.
Yeah.
There is no cure. But what I found very interesting through the research is that Dr. Ethan Russo postulated that irritable bowel syndrome is an endocannabinoid deficiency, right? It's postulated to be caused by stress, and it has multiple associations with other, just think of mind-gut connection or mind-bowel access types of conditions.
And I know I've said this before. I mean, it really is its own brain. Like the gut, the brain, the brain and the gut talk to each other. But if that connection gets cut, let's say you have a horrible accident and you're done up here, like there's no way to communicate with your brain, your gut, your enteric nervous system still operates perfectly fine. It is not affected in any way.
Right.
So which one is really in control here?
Exactly. That's why we talk about the umbrella. It's all interconnected, right? The endocannabinoid system, all of our systems are all interconnected, and they all communicate with one another via the endocannabinoid system and those neurotransmitters. So studies, we've got studies.
We do.
Cannakeys. There's 46 of them.
Yeah. Well, did we talk about the 3 types of IBS?
Oh gosh, I missed that, Mark. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, well, hey, that's what we're here for, man. We got each other's back,
Gotcha.
So there are 3 types of IBS. There's IBS-D, which is D for diarrhea. IBS-C, which is constipation, and IBS-M, which is mixed. See how this stuff makes sense? It's a logical medicine, isn't it?
Oh.
So now, Sherry, tell us about the studies.
Okay. So you're really good at explaining the studies, but I can do this. There's 46 total. There were no actual lab or animals, but they did one meta-analysis, which looks at multiple similar studies that were reviewed. Then they had 2 clinical human trials and 2 double-blind placebo trials.
Yeah.
And the double-blind,
like at the top of the food chain as far as
the best ones.
Evidence-based medicine. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's see. There was a study, clinical endocannabinoid deficiency reconsidered. Current research supports the theory in migraine, fibromyalgia, irritable bowel, and other treatment-resistant syndromes.
Right.
So in 2016, Dr. Ethan wrote another article that confirmed some of the previous studies that he postulated in 2001 and 2004. And basically migraines, irritable bowel, and fibromyalgia all have very similar unifying pathophysiologies, right? They all manifest.
And it's not funny to note, but it is something to note that it's a higher prevalence amongst women than men. That may have to do with the hormones and everything that's going on in a woman's body. But for whatever the reason, they suffer much more with these 3 particular things. And another point to make is fibromyalgia. It's another catch-all, which you can't test for, which many doctors poo-poo, or finally, I think it's being taken seriously. But for many years, people who suffered from fibromyalgia, there was no name for it, suffered truly. And the doctors would just say, hey, I don't know. We've tried everything. I don't know what to tell you.
Right.
Yep.
Right. So interesting thing about all of these things too, is that they're all diagnoses of exclusion, meaning that there are a ton of diagnostic workups and tests, and they don't have any clear evidence as to why it's happening, right? So they display, a lot of people have elevated anxiety, depression. So here we have like that chicken and the egg dilemma that we talk about. People are labeled of having the psychosomatic illness, the wastebasket diagnoses, people are getting help, and they're not getting relief, and they're getting worse, and they're getting worse. And you can see, in some of the stories that we've worked with different patients, that they come to us, they don't know what's wrong with us. They can't figure out what's wrong with me. They say I have this, they say I have that. And really, if you step back from all of it, and if you can look at it from a bigger picture, you can see what they might be missing, that whole endocannabinoid system, education, to be able to educate the patients. So the comorbidity with all three of these diagnoses, some patients suffer from one, or some people suffer from all three of them, whether it be the fibromyalgia, the migraines, and the irritable bowel. And that's horrible. 3 things to have. And just think that a plant could fix it.
Could help all 3 of those. Yeah.
Right.
And so prior to our understanding of the endocannabinoid system, which is relatively new in the scheme of medicine, right? I mean, the endocannabinoid system, 1990s, a lot of research has been done since then. So we start to have this understanding of this major overall, again, the umbrella, this overall system that interacts in all of these different ways. So it makes sense. That
totally makes sense.
We'll talk about now. Cannabis, cannabinoids, phytocannabinoids would have a positive effect on all of these things because they're all interrelated within that endocannabinoid system.
Right. And the endocannabinoid system regulates every level of our bowel, right? So the anti-inflammatory signals, the serotonin signaling, it maintains balance of healthy gut bacteria. It's really, really important to take care of your gut. So what do we have here next, Mark?
Chemotype studies. So there were some studies with cannabinoids, with cannabis. And so they looked at, again, let's talk about the 3, right? So chemotype 1 is a THC dominant variety, right? So that's going to be high THC, lower CBD, which are the 2 primary cannabinoids in cannabis. Chemotype 2 is an equal THC CBD, and chemotype 3 is a CBD dominant. Right. So that would be higher CBD, lower THC. And so when we look at the results of these chemotype studies, 80% overall positive, which is huge, If you think of the FDA will authorize a medication if it gets to a 40% efficacy threshold. I think that's what the number is. In other words, if they have a medication that the pharmaceutical companies go through the clinical trials and they say 40% of the time it works good, then they say cha-ching. So if 80% of the time they have a positive,
that's a double win. That's a double win,
right?
It's a home run.
75% positive clinical results.
Right. Yeah.
Huge.
And so then, and we just talked about too how the endocannabinoid system does regulate every level of the irritable bowel syndrome. But the other thing too is that endocannabinoid system also has 3 major gut functions, which is cool. It modulates pain and inflammation because we have receptors, right, on all of 11 organ systems, including our digestive system. And activating these receptors actually protects the gut.
Yeah.
Right? The endocannabinoid system regulates the digestive action, right? I love this. I love all this nerdy science, right? So the endocannabinoid system modulates gastric motility. Right? Can speed it up or slow it down.
Right.
The endocannabinoid system modulates gastric secretions. How much stuff's going in? Does it stop? And then the receptor activation, CB1 receptors in particular in our brain actually calms down nausea, helps to slow the emptying of the stomach, reduces stomach acid, stimulates appetite, and actually works to regulate communication to your brain. I just find it so fascinating how this all ties in.
It is all about regulation, and it's that dysregulation that causes all of these other things to appear, right? It's out of whack. It's not regulated the way that it should be or could be.
Yeah.
So that's why we come here to talk about it.
We come here to talk about it. So the endocannabinoid system gut-brain connection, the researchers believe, that we have the ability, this is how our brain and our guts communicate through the endocannabinoid system. So our brain changes related to the stress of pain. So when we have pain, right, if we can improve, just think about pain in our whole body. And I can relate to this personally because of
stress
why I'm using cannabis, right? The healthier the gut, the more I take care of my gut, the less pain I'm going to manifest in my body. It just
Right.
makes sense.
Right.
It decreases the inflammation.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So supporting the endocannabinoid system for a healthy gut. This is our
Yeah.
wise. Here we go. This is our
Here we
tips and
go.
tricks, our hugs and nugs, how we take care of and nourish our endocannabinoid system.
Yeah.
Y'all have
Yeah.
heard me say this every single time. It is about, a lot of it has to do with our choices with food. And the number one
It's not
thing,
easy to change your
not,
choices, right? Let's just recognize that. Give yourself a little break. We're talking about these positive things to do, but understand you've been programmed since you were born for these particular foods. You've been marketed to, you've been programmed to. They're accessible everywhere you go. They're the things that are most readily available, and we're lazy by nature. Not lazy. We're just, if it's easy and it's going to
we're
give us that
programmed for,
dopamine rush, we're programmed to do
we're
it.
programmed for Wonder Bread and fluff.
Yes. Oh, is there nothing better than a Wonder Bread and fluff sandwich?
Skippy, fluff, and
Oh,
Wonder Bread.
oh. So give
It's great.
yourself a little bit of
Yeah.
love and acceptance that these choices, although Sherry and I talk about it as if, hey, just make the choice today.
Yeah.
Not so easy. So it's a matter of working towards it. And it's one of the things I cover in the book, Sherry. If you're gonna make a change, in your diet, the first thing that I always say that you should do is get one of those apps and just track what you eat for a
Oh,
month.
yeah.
Like, get in the habit of tracking what you eat for a month. Don't even look at it. Don't even, analyze it, whatever. Just do it for a month. The next month, you can start to really look at it and see. When you finally you're able to peer into that world of what you eat, you are going to be amazed at what certain foods will do to your calorie count, your sugar count, all this stuff, right? So, Sherry, what are the things that we're recommending here?
I love it. So number one thing, we're going to talk about some things to avoid first. And I know it's the laundry list, but it's the same list that I'm going to say over and over.
Mm-hmm.
Fast food, fried food, fake food, canned, trans fat, hydrogenated oils, high fructose corn syrup, and processed sugar.
Right.
All of those things. Just think about it. When you're picking up something and you're going to eat it or drink it, you just look at it and say,
right.
What's this going to do to my mind? How is this going to support and nourish my endocannabinoid system? And
what's it going to do to your biome?
Yes, my body. Exactly.
You've got billions and billions of little critters hoping that you do the right thing, right? They want to be happy in their world. You are their universe. You are their God. Treat them right, will you?
The little minions, right?
It's like Men in Black. You open up that thing and there's a whole world inside that locker. You are the locker. Right. So
we are the locker. So anyways, our diet and our choices are so important. So consuming foods that are rich in cannabinoids from cannabis and hemp. I'm all about eating the plant. Right.
Oh my gosh. I am a huge fan. I did that infused dinners for almost a year, hosted infused dinners for people and did educational events. And it's just
get back to that.
A great way to get your cannabinoids.
Yeah, I love eating it. And then utilizing various cannabinoids and terpenes that promote, gastrointestinal health. Beta-caryophyllene we love, CBG, good combinations of CBD and CBG. Really good. Phytocannabinoid supplements, right? So think about that. Some of the terpenes that are around, cloves, black pepper, hops, all of these things that we can add in, increasing our healthy fats.
Healthy fats. This is huge. The obesity epidemic. There was something that I read that it was really interesting to note that the obesity rate started to climb as soon as the government said you should eat a low-fat diet. Right. So
because everyone started
to this low-fat. Right. There are healthy fats that you need to include in your diet.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So what
cannabinoids are fat soluble. Cannabinoids are fat soluble too.
Right. You need healthy fats. Absolutely.
Yep. And, and the other thing too, that's important about fat when people are like, oh, I'm not into fat. Well, think about this. Fats protects your cells, and fat actually allows, if you have a nice amount of fat in your diet, allows nutrients, those fat soluble nutrients to get into your cells. So fish. Yeah. Fish, nuts, seeds, nut butters, avocado, coconut oil, olive oil, all of these things. I love them. It's great.
Too.
And it's a source of energy, so you look at people like, oh, fat calories. Nah, it's a source of energy. It's a really good source of energy.
The
choosing the right
based on it.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Keto diet, you have a so it's high fat, medium protein, and low carb. It's completely the opposite of what the normal government FDA or the USDA recommended diet is. But that diet's been around since the 1920s, used as a medical tool for
Right.
seizures and epilepsy in other areas. Okay, so there's something to that high
There's
fat
something to be
diet.
said about that. If they're using a diet for seizures and epilepsy and it's going to improve cognitive, I mean,
Yeah,
just makes sense
right.
to think about
Right.
that, right?
Now, yeah, it's a commitment, but
It's a
again,
commitment. But
you can do it.
there's little things that we can do. Now, here's
Yeah.
something that I learned that was
Mhm,
new.
mhm.
So those vegetables that either you love or you hate, I like them. Cauliflower, broccoli, and
Oh,
cabbage, those cruciferous vegetables,
yeah.
they help activate CB2 receptors,
Mhm.
which is really great too. Those are in our organs, inflammation, to decrease inflammation.
Right.
So the cruciferous vegetables,
Mhm.
cauliflower, broccoli, and cabbage,
Yeah.
really good for gut health.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, back to the herbs and spices share: black pepper, cloves, cinnamon, oregano, basil, lavender, and rosemary. They're all rich in terpenes and the almost phytocannabinoid beta caryophyllene. It really is considered almost a cannabinoid unto itself, although
Right.
it falls into the chemical classification of a terpene.
Right.
Yeah.
And then the other things we talk about too that we can consume is, we said about juicing raw cannabis. There's other
Yeah.
supplements,
Mhm.
adaptogens, Ayurvedic herbs,
Yep.
fungus, mushrooms, reishi, cordyceps, lion's mane. All of these things
Right.
help to produce a healthy gut environment. Probiotics too.
Mhm.
What I also just learned in research is the lactobacillus modulates the endocannabinoid system in the gut. So probiotics definitely do support and nourish our endocannabinoid system.
Support your gut biome. Give
Support
them
your
good stuff.
gut.
Absolutely. Okay, other things. Listen,
Stress management. Here
stress
we go. We're
management.
wrapping it.
Oh, stress management, sleep hygiene, sleep is so important. Whatever you can do to allow yourself to get that restorative sleep is only going to help your gut.
So
Extra.
sleep,
Yeah.
exercise, prayer, meditation,
Yeah.
recreation, right? Enjoying yourself.
Yeah,
You have to have some fun. Take some time for you.
you do. Mhm.
And so cannabinoid therapeutics, cannabis plus a healthy lifestyle to support and nourish our endocannabinoid system for gut
Mhm.
health. So we want to do more of what supports the endocannabinoid system, do less of what doesn't support it. And
Mhm.
basically when it comes to, gut health, studies have shown that the CBD dominant types of products have been really beneficial for patients that have irritable
Yeah.
bowel.
Yeah.
And I've also seen too, I'm going to pipe in there, a lot of patients do really
Mhm.
well with one-to-one because a lot of them do have other comorbidities. So
I
when we're
love the
talking about,
one-to-one. I think it's a
yeah,
I
me
think it's a
too.
great ratio. I really do. I really do.
Me
So
too.
that's a THC CBD combination. If you're in a
Yeah.
marketplace where you have access to that, that's a great microdose strategy. It really is. The two work so well together. It, I mean, they're meant to. They're meant to be together. It's
They're
great.
meant to be
Yeah,
just like peas
they
and
are.
carrots,
Just like
THC
just
and
like me and
CBD,
you, Sherry. We're just meant to
just
be
like
together.
we're meant to be together.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Wellness Wednesday. So what is everyone going to do today to take care of your gut? What's everyone
Yeah.
eating today? Put in the comments. I want to know what you ate today.
Really, you know what? Start tracking what you eat. It is really cool. It's a cool science experiment to really see what you put in your body.
Yeah,
Just
you'll be blown away.
consciously, the choices that you make. And again, no judgment. Like
No
you're programmed for this. We're all programmed for it. We really don't have much choice until we can
decide
see
to
what we're
reprogram.
doing and change the programming, right?
Yeah.
That's the thing. We got to change the programming, right? Yeah.
So today is Wednesday, and we have a lot. Today's a media Wednesday. We do a
Oh,
lot of different things on Wednesday, and
we do a lot of
um,
things. Mhm.
Canna Talk today, 4:20 to 6:20 at In the Weeds Prohibition Talk Radio.
Yep.
We have DJ Joe Smith of In the Weeds at Dub Tech Productions. He's having on
Big
Mike
Joe.
Wise. Yeah, it's going to be a really great show. Mike Wise has been around for a very long time. He's a big
Mhm.
cannabis advocate and activist, and he
Mhm.
has his own podcast, and he's actually giving out awards that we were participating in. So it'll be good to have him on this
We
afternoon.
love awards.
And then tonight at 8 p.m., we have cannabis nurse Mike Harvey on.
Right. Mike,
He's a
military member,
Military
Great
Mike.
story about how CBD kind of ended his military career after 30 years. He's a nurse.
That's gonna be
Super
a good
interesting
story.
guy. Really going to love that show.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good
Oh,
one.
yeah. Oh, Maria
And then on
posted a green
Friday, we
smoothie. Now
have
I'm hungry.
frequency. Oh,
Yeah,
what did she
sorry.
say? What is she having? Green smoothie. Ooh, yeah, I can see
Kale,
that over
banana,
there.
cherries, carrots.
It's a good one. It's a good one.
Oh. All right. So Friday, Frequency Friday,
Friday,
9 a.m.
Friday. Yeah.
Mhm.
And then a week from yesterday, so next Tuesday is going to be 420. It's a big celebration
Already.
for all of us. Yes, we want
Mhm.
everyone to be involved. So in the Weeds Prohibition Talk Radio, we're doing a 420
Mhm.
potluck giveaway. So you guys are all going to have to join us, come over to the page
Yeah.
and see how you can participate. And what we're going to do is we have a lot of companies that are donating different products, books, tickets, events, a vacation, CBD products. Nurse Mark is
Whew.
book, his tincture.
Absolutely. Yeah. Wait. Oh my
Right?
gosh.
A lube. Mark's given a lube up too. So lube. So
Listen,
anyway,
we're talking happiness, health, happiness, cannabis, right? That's the motto.
right.
It's healthy and it makes you happy.
Exactly. So this is what we're doing. So it's really easy, everyone. If you're out there, go check out In the Weeds Prohibition Talk Radio, check out the event.
Yep.
And we're going to give out numbers. So people that come and watch are going to get a number. Mark will come on. Every company will come on if they want to, and they're going to give away their prize. They're going to pick that number out. And if you get that number, then that prize will get mailed to you.
Yeah.
So it's really, really a great celebration. We're all coming together. We want to, make everyone feel good, have fun, laugh, talk, kind of like a potathon.
It'll be great.
Potathon.
Yeah. All right. So be there.
So be there or be square.
But be here now. This Wednesday, April 14, 2021, the only one you're going to get. Go out there, make it a healthy gut day. I'm having an AFA day already. I hope you are too. And, thanks for stopping by. Thanks for, putting your comments in, being here, watching, being part of this community, this family. And Sherry, I always have to ask you, what's it all about?
Oh, gosh, Mark, I love saying it. It's really, truly about living your best life and helping others do the same. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. It's been an awesome show.